Now, this brings me to back to my point about the prominence of eyes within this movie. There's this little shot of what looks like, it looked like the cameraman had set up like set up above the city a surveillance camera, and that's when I started to think like, could this be a metaphor for, and I take it's funny that I should mention this because I'm being an atheist. Could this movie be a metaphor that God is watching, and it really got me thinking, like, maybe this is a metaphor that God is always watching. And I mean, being an atheist, I don't believe in God myself, but you really start to wonder, with all this eye imagery and like shots of, from above the city, look, which people refer to as like the when you're looking down on scenery, people in film refer to that as the shot of God. Eventually, I think the point of view of God shot. So, like, it really got me thinking, like, maybe this is a metaphor for, God always watching. And anyway, then there's this little sequence where you see a baby being born, and it really made me think, could this be the first ever filmed birth in the history of film? And if anyone knows that, please let me know, because I really love when people, respond to my reviews and give me some information about it, because I love learning about stuff like this, and like it really got me thinking, like, this probably is the first ever filmed birth of a baby in motion picture history. But if anyone knows of an earlier film that actually had a birth in it, please let me know, because I'd really like to know if this is the first one ever. Then there's a clever little shot of an elevator going up and down, and like in one shot you see like the elevator, you see the cameraman. It's from the point of view inside the elevator, and it's going up and down. And you see another cameraman outside of the elevator shooting, the film of the elevator going up and down. And I thought that was just a clever little shot of in the movie. Then there's more eye imagery. There's this really awesome imagery of like this eye like looking all over, and like you see like the camera like doing these big, like almost like the cameraman was painting, the way that the camera was moving all over the place. And once again, it got me thinking about the whole God metaphor, and if God is always watching. Anyway, then there's this little stop motion shot of which I thought was really clever for the time. I don't know if probably not the first ever use of it, but clever little stop motion shot of these cigarettes building, like, I guess it looked like a little house to me. Anyway, and I enjoyed that. Then the movie kind of started to drag. I mean, there was a lot of like imagery of slow motion imagery of, and I probably not the first time slow motion had ever been used. But there's this little montage of track and field, and it kind of started to drag on me. It got kind of slow and whatnot. But there is a little moment in the track and field montage where you see a guy riding a horse, and there's a freeze frame of the horse, and it got me thinking of is this an homage to the guy Muirbridge, who who did the first ever so-called film. He did the thing with the horse, to prove that a horse does leave all four of its hooves when it's galloping along. And I thought maybe this is a little homage to that. So I found that pretty cool, and I figured maybe it could be an homage to Muirbridge. Then there's a couple little interesting shots. There's this really funny shot of a superimposed shot of the cameraman. He's inside superimposed over a glass of beer, and you see him climbing out of the glass, and I thought that was a really clever little shot. Then there's this really surreal little shot of stop motion again, where I guess it's a plate of crabs, and like you see one of the crabs get up and walk away off the plate. I thought that was a clever little shot. Then there's this really cool shot of stop motion of the camera setting itself up, and I don't know why, but it stopped when it was fully set up, and I thought, why didn't he end the movie on on, you know, the camera taking itself apart and putting itself away, you know, and it did this in a stop motion sense without the aid of a human being setting it up, and I thought that was a really clever little shot. And I thought maybe, you know, it'd be interesting to end the movie on, you know, the camera taking itself apart and putting itself away, but it ended on a pretty good ending with the iris of the camera closing and the eye shutting as well. So anyway, another thing I thought of, obviously this movie, you know, it must have had influence on our people because they're, like I said, the God point of view shot. I've seen that before. I've seen it in probably a lesser known film by Hitchcock. In the opening sequence of the movie Rope by Hitchcock, there's a shot that reminded me a lot of the God point of view shots that you see in this movie. So obviously this movie must have had major influence on filmmakers later on in movie history. Anyway, and then like me taking away personally, I think, you know, and it's funny for me because, you know, I'm an atheist and all, but I really think, you know, that like this may have been a metaphor for, you know, the metaphor that God is always watching. So all in all, you know, it's a really interesting movie, you know, for, you know, filmmaking technique and whatnot. So I would definitely check it out if you appreciate, you know, the filmmaking aspects of movie making. And really a great little movie to check out. I probably would never watch it again, but definitely check it out for history's sake. It's got a lot of amazing imagery in it. So that's all for now. I'm not going to give out which movie I'll be doing next because I'm not totally sure which movie I'm going to be doing next. So take care, everyone. This has been Justin for 1001 Movie Reviews You Must See Before You Die. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.